Mr. Chairman and members, thank you all for your diligence at hearing this bill. The legislature has, I was trying to look up when the last time the legislature had a debate on the death penalty. I think it was back after we reinstated the death penalty, but we've not had one since. And so what I'd like to ask this committee to do is to permit us to have a debate on the House floor on the death penalty, because that's the only thing that's standing in the way of this committee. I would also tell you this, and I'll be real brief. Miss Allison Dieter gave you a sheet that looks like this. You know what you ought to do? Look at it. There's only one thing on it I want you to look at, though. There's a gentleman down there. His name is Christopher Ochoa. He's the best example for what's wrong with our death penalty system in Texas. And if you look at it, what you'll notice is that, and she's kindly put down why they were exonerated. And if you'll see under his, it says false confession. You know whose confession it was? What was false? It was his. He confessed to capital murder. And when I spoke to him, what he said to me was, Mr. Dutton, I said, why would you confess to a crime like that? And you didn't do it. He said, Mr. Dutton, first of all, you got to recognize something that I recognize. He says, first, I was Mexican. Secondly, I was poor. Thirdly, I had a court-appointed lawyer. And fourthly, the prosecutor told me that if I didn't plead guilty, they would seek the death penalty. And he said, I knew they could get it, because this was Texas. And I never forgot him. He was in Travis County. Not in Harris County, but Travis County, where I think he, more than anybody, says that this legislature ought to have a debate on whether or not we continue the death penalty machine. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I know Representative Canales.
Representative Dutton, I want to thank you for your work, and I wanted to make a comment. I've served on this committee for 3 sessions now, and I've watched the presentation of these bills, and I know one thing: it's not fiscally conservative. It's not. You spend almost twice as much executing somebody. Right. It doesn't have, we've proven, it doesn't have the deterrent effect. In fact, states that don't have it often have better statistics than we do. You can't fix it if you messed it up. We've executed innocent people that we can't bring back, and there's no fixing it once it's done. My good friend, Representative Lee, served with me last session. And I asked him, I said, how can you be for this? And he says, I said, you're pro-life. And he says, from the womb to the tomb, we'll protect life. And he said, but innocent life. And then I asked him a question. I said, well, you're a Christian, Catholic. I'm a Christian, I believe. I said, well, doesn't the Bible say if I repent, am I not forgiven? He said, yes. And I said, then I answer that. And you and I both know that this past interim, Jeff Leach, conservative Republican, worked with us on having Jeff Woods' sentence commuted.
Absolutely.
We sat together this session in the Capitol, didn't we?
And I have congratulated him. He has he's moved completely away from where he was.
We heard people in here talk about the first murder of Cain and Abel. Exodus also says something else. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And I will quote Gandhi. He says, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth will leave the whole world blind and toothless.
Absolutely.
It's time for a change. Thank you for your work.
That's why the New Testament came. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, again, and members, I don't ask you to vote this bill as if you're against the death penalty. What I would ask you to do is to vote to let the legislature, let the House of Representatives have a debate on this bill. And with that, Mr. Chairman and members, I thank you and I close.
Thank you very much, Chairman.